We're back at it. Happy Monday, first day of summer. It's here. The summer solstice happened, last night about 8:30. I can't remember exactly now, but we're here. It's summer, and it's going to feel like summer. We are in for a significant warm-up. We hit 87 degrees on Sunday. We're going to be 10 degrees warmer than that today. We'll be hovering right around 96 or 97 for the early part of the week, and then we cook into the triple digits, and we're talking record-breaking heat coming up this weekend. It's going to be downright hot. There's going to be a huge dome of high pressure pretty much all over the western United States. It's going to be centered in the Rocky Mountains, and it's going to slowly glide its way up. And we're going to be baking. You remember the summer of 2015? It's coming back. It wasn't invited, but it's coming back. It's going to be very hot by the time we get to the weekend. No escaping the heat. Forecast details are coming up. We'll have the latest news to get to. Lots of sports. Apple Sox lost 2 of 3 to the Bend Elks over the weekend, including the game that we televised on Friday night. That was the game they won, and they lost, unfortunately, on Saturday and Sunday for Father's Day, but an entertaining 3 days for them. Mariners are smoking hot. They swept the defending American League champions in dramatic fashion on Father's Day. We'll have highlights of that. The prep sports season is over. It's all done. It was all cattywampus. It was all backwards. We had football in March and basketball, which is normally in the winter, just wrapped up. It was all crazy, but we'll wrap up the year in prep sports. Plus, we'll have the obscure holiday today in history. We got some celebrity birthdays for you. Mike McNaughty has an opinion, and we do it 4 times a year with Bonnie Orr. I'm talking about, we sit down with Bonnie and talk about the tips that you need to make sure your lawn and garden thrives in whatever season we happen to be in. Now that we're in summer, we're going to have our conversation with Bonnie Orr. We taped it up at Omi Gardens last week, so as we get into the heat of summer just in time, Bonnie's going to let you know how to make sure your lawn and garden thrives in the dog days of summer, which are pretty much upon us. It is 64 degrees outside of our studios. It's already 75 in Ephrata. They could hit triple digits today. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on around north central Washington with our Valley View cameras. And there is the cross camera, the lower cross camera, the alternate cross camera, if you will. We have a beeline of what happened to our regular cross camera. It's technical. You don't need to know. We'll have it up and running soon. Columbia River is running fast. It's running cold. And boy, a lot of people are going to be wanting to hop into that river by the end of the week. Just a friendly reminder, the river is not even 60 degrees yet. You're better off using a swimming pool until the river warms up in late July on into August, but there's snowmelt in the high areas of our beautiful state continues to flow into the mighty Columbia, so it's cold, although it's beautiful. Camera number 2. Of course, Megan gets to decide, and I have to guess. I'm usually pretty good about this. Rude Canyon? Confirmation from Megan, we're looking at Rude Canyon. Well, the top of Rude Canyon, we're not actually looking at the canyon itself. There wouldn't be really much to see there. Good morning to our friends up top. Beautiful view there. It's one of the few places in Douglas County that is fairly heavily wooded with those tall trees and the shade, which will be feeling pretty good by the middle of this week. Camera number 3. We are off to, it looks to be Union Valley, am I correct? Hello, Lake Chelan. That place was busy over the weekend. It's going to be even busier still as we head into full vacation mode. Most of the resorts will be filling out. The boats will be out and about. Things are usually quiet Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. By Thursdays, as the folks come in to recreate over the weekend, the lake will get choppier and choppier. Then they have the effect that the locals all know about on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when you between the jet skis and the power boats and the Lady of the Lake, the lake, especially the lower part of the lake, gets pretty choppy, regardless of what the weather is, simply because there's so many pleasure craft on Lake Chelan. But it's peaceful and calm from Union Valley on the north shore of the lake. And camera number 4. We're off to Nanapock Ridge. Beautiful Lake Wenatchee. Gorgeous view up there. Now, that might be a good place to go if you want to cool down, if you want to spend some time outdoors, but you don't want to get baking hot. Lake Wenatchee is always a good 10 degrees cooler than the Wenatchee Valley. And even that's going to get hot. I mean, nobody's going to be escaping the oncoming heat wave that's going to be just baking us. Again, we're going to see, without question, record-breaking temperatures by the time we get to the weekend. So be prepared. Our 97 for our forecast high today is going to feel downright comfortable by the time we get to the weekend. Let's go ahead and fill you in on those details. First of all, a couple of slides from the National Weather Service. Yeah, it's going to get hot. Have I mentioned that already? Very warm coming up for the inland Northwest. We'll be mid-90s anyway today. Again, we hit 87 yesterday. Our normal high is 79, so we're going to be mid-90s today, mid-90s on Tuesday, mid-90s Wednesday, a little bit warmer perhaps on Thursday, and then triple digits Friday, and we're talking temperatures around 105 or 106 on Saturday and Sunday, warmer still in the Tri-Cities, so there's no question an excessive heat warning will be issued by the National Weather Service sometime this week, so it's going to be just downright uncomfortable, especially in the afternoon hours. So get ready to fire up the air conditioner. And the 6 to 14 day outlook is something that's going to make your jaw drop. There you go. This is from the Climate Prediction Center. These are the people who handle the long-term forecasts. As you can see, that big dome of high pressure that's centered pretty much over Nevada and Oregon and the southwestern portion of Idaho is going to sit there, and it's going to gradually move up. And by the weekend, it's going to be centered around the north central Washington area, and we are just going to get baked above normal temperatures, well above normal temperatures, and below normal precipitation. In fact, we're even going to be dealing with a little bit of wind in the early part of this week. So that's the last thing we need is hot, dry, windy conditions with low relative humidities. But as you can see, this is going to be a long-term situation. It's going to get hot, and it's going to stay hot for the foreseeable future, certainly through the end of the month of June. So you were warned. Get ready. Dry conditions, triple-digit heat from the National Weather Service. Here you go. Right around 96, 97. 99 is certainly a possibility. We're at 64 right now. 68 for even the overnight lows are going to be very mild. 97 on Tuesday, 97 on Wednesday, or right around there. By Thursday is when the high-pressure dome is going to be super well entrenched, and it's going to slowly, gradually work its way north. By Friday, we'll be in triple digits. We're talking 106 or so on Saturday and Sunday. Downright hot. Just scorching hot. And by the way, it's going to be a little windy on Tuesday and Wednesday. So no real relief. The wind is not what we want this time of the year. We want a nice, light, cool breeze. We're not going to get that. Just hot. There's just no other way around it. Poor Grant. He's going to get blamed for this weather. He has nothing to do with it. Grant doesn't control the weather. He just reports it. Get ready for some warm stuff. Going to be very hot indeed, as we are now well into summertime. It is 8 minutes after the hour. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we got news on this Monday morning. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington since 1984, providing the finest Bryant systems for both your heating and cooling needs. Along with prompt and professional service for both your residential and commercial needs, they also offer service and maintenance on your gas fireplaces. As always, Arctic is available 24 hours a day for any of your emergency calls. Whatever it takes, Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, the temperature experts.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition.
9 minutes after the hour, 64 degrees. Outside of our studios, we're looking at highs in the upper 90s today, tomorrow, right on into Wednesday, Thursday, triple digits, well into the triple digits, 106 or 107 our afternoon highs for the weekend. Here's what's making headlines at 9 minutes after the hour. Level 1 evacuations remain in place for residents in the sparsely populated Mission Creek Road area. This is southwest of Monitor after a small brush fire broke out about 2:40 yesterday afternoon. The 25-acre fire is burning in dried out grass and sage. Firefighters from Chelan County District 6, the DNR, the Bureau of Land Management, and the U.S. Forest Service are on the scene. 3 helicopters were making water drops before sundown last night. No injuries have been reported. No structures have been lost. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Traffic will be slowed on both Stevens and Blewett passes this week. In fact, most of this week, and it starts today and continues through Thursday. A contractor for the Washington State Department of Transportation will be removing hazardous trees on Highway 2 at Stevens Pass, and this will mean flagger-controlled traffic from milepost 59 to 78 with delays of up to 30 minutes expected. That work will go on from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. And on Blewett Pass, travel will be reduced to one alternating lane near the SWAT campground. Also today through Thursday, a contractor is going to be pouring cement for a bridge. In this case, work will be going on 24 hours a day with a temporary signal moving traffic through the work zone. Residents in the Upper Valley are likely to see slow-moving, low-flying helicopters for 5 straight days. That begins Thursday. The helicopter crews will be inspecting transmission lines for the Chelan County PUD using light detection and ranging technology. The flights will follow power lines from Anderson Canyon in Peshastin to the top of Stevens Pass and from Coles Corner to Lake Wenatchee, June 24th through the 28th. The city of Wenatchee will distribute a lot of money, more than $325,000 in federal COVID-19 funding to the Women's Resource Center, the YWCA, and the Town Toyota Center. The $131,000 are going to go towards the restart of the Town Toyota Center as the arena prepares to resume offering indoor entertainment this year. The $118,000 dedicated to the Women's Resource Center will be used to assist its landlord-tenant liaison program, and the YWCA of North Central Washington will receive $77,000 for its housing program. The money is part of the $1.9 billion American Rescue Plan passed by Congress in March. Finally this morning, the Garden Terrace Independent Senior Living Facility celebrated its 50th anniversary on Friday. They had a celebratory ribbon cutting. The Garden Terrace opened its doors to the public and a lot of volunteers who have made it possible for the Wenatchee Valley to have affordable senior housing options. I had a chance to sit down with the executive director, Ken Neer, about the history of the facility and the heavy demand for housing at Garden Terrace.
When you inherited this job 4 years ago, and here we are on the 50th anniversary, did you find old files of the construction of this beautiful campus and how it came to be?
I do. Cusick Construction, I was in charge of building the buildings, I guess. So that was kind of fun to find out since I play tennis with those guys every now and then. But yeah, I've got actually minutes from the very early days of planning through till today, and so it was fun looking back through some of those. And they kept scrapbooks in those days. They didn't have a file on the internet, so there's scrapbooks that we're going to get out for that 50th and have people so they can look through them and recognize people that were here a long time ago. I think it'll be real fun. And yeah, we've pulled out some of our initial brochures and things like that, and just kind of laugh at. They were mimeographed.
For you, there's a 2-year wait to get into this place.
Yeah.
That's pretty typical, isn't it?
It has been in the last couple of years. Yeah, it's.
How do you account for that?
Well, it's a couple of things. One, it's the economy. I think when folks, and probably COVID as well, when folks lose one of the couple, their 2 Social Security incomes can't keep them going somewhere. So when you have one, you end up in a place like this. And the other thing is just the housing market. I mean, the rental prices are going up and up and up, and folks are converting their low-income rentals to higher-income rentals because they're, close to retirement or something. They want to, work on their nest egg a little bit. So I can't blame them, but that just is putting pressure on places like us. And then we have to have people in our building age in place. We're independent living, not assisted living, so we don't have any staff that do that. So it's caregivers that come in and out of the building all the time and do those kinds of chores for folks. And so as an independent living place, those folks are getting more and more chore givers coming in to help them because there's no place or few places to go for the assisted living part of that. It's harder to find assisted living beds now, and so that puts pressure on us to keep people here longer, or they don't want to leave. That happens a lot too. It's like, I don't want to go.
Congratulations to Garden Terrace. I hope it went well on Friday. And they'll be doing more events, by the way, as they celebrate their 50th anniversary in the year 2021. That's what's making headlines at 15 minutes after the hour. Grant and the whole crew will be gathering the news for you. We believe in having an informed viewership, finding out what's going on, what's making headlines around North Central Washington and the Wenatchee Valley. And with a preview of tonight's news, here's Grant Olson.
Good Monday morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, unseasonably hot weather is on the way today, and it's just going to get hotter. All the details coming up in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom wraps up the weekend's high school sports action, as well as results from the Apple Sox and the Mariners. That and all the day's news stories coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. And don't forget, we'd love to hear from you, our viewers, at the bottom of your screen or any of the number of tools that you can use to get a hold of us. It's almost all internet related, as you might imagine. You can use our Facebook Messenger app. Just go to your Facebook page, type in NCW Life Channel in the search bar, and we'll pop right up. You can also email us directly, news@ncwlife.com is our email address. You can go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, our website, and click on the Contact Us icon as well. 16 minutes after the hour, after the break, Mariners sweeping the defending American League champions, the Tampa Bay Rays. Plus, we'll talk about Apple Sox baseball, the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, and also prep sports wrapped up for the year with the latest high school basketball and bowling results, plus what happened at the WVSO over the weekend. We'll have the obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays, and opinion from Mike Mad Dog McDowdy, and my conversation with Bonnie Orr on the do's and don'ts of summertime lawn and garden care on this, the first full day of summer. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
Kids are resilient. I just love their energy. They bounce back so quickly. I love the stories they tell. I love just their charisma, their character. I love to see that subtle smile that you pull out of a kid, when you start talking with them about something they really like. I just love what I do, and I can't imagine I would be as happy doing anything else.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine in style at Highlander Bar and Grill located at the beautiful Highlander Golf Course in East Wenatchee. Highlander Grill offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner with dine-in or takeout options. Highlander Bar and Grill's friendly staff is here to serve you 7 days a week. Call for reservations Friday night prime rib dinner. Contact Shalane, Highlander Grill's site coordinator, to schedule your corporate event or special occasion today.
18 minutes after the hour on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and I am Dan Kuntz. Sports, the Mariners completed a sweep at the defending American League champions in dramatic fashion. It was a walk-off grand slam home run by Shed Long Jr. 6-2, the final score. In 10 innings, Seattle completes the 4-game sweep at Tampa Bay. Luis Torrens put the Mariners up 1-0 with a solo home run in the third. After Seattle starter Marco Gonzalez gave up the lead, Ty France tied it with a homer in the 7th. The game remained tied until the M's loaded the bases for Shed Long Jr. in the bottom of the 10th.
1-1. Hit well. That's going to get it done. Grand slam to walk it off. Can you believe it? 6-2 final. The Mariners have swept the American League defending champion Tampa Bay Rays in 4 games, the first time in history.
It's unbelievable, honestly, unbelievable. Just a great feeling. I mean, it's one of the coolest things you can do in baseball, in my opinion. So, I mean, it was a great feeling just rounding the bases and just knowing that I was able to help my team win. It's just guys taking care of business. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's always good when you win. And I mean, you beat a high caliber team like that. I mean, that's a good sign for you. You know, it brings confidence in the locker room, and I think it'll keep us going in the direction that we're going and bringing guys together, you know. But I mean, it's a great feeling to have. And I mean, I'm just looking forward to keep working, and hopefully we can keep it going. For sure. I mean, we have confidence regardless, you know. I mean, I think that all throughout the game we have confidence, and we know that we can get it done at any time. I mean, all it takes is one, and, you know, once you get one hit, things start to get contagious.
For Mr. Long, it was his first ever Grand Slam home run, and it marked the third Mariner walk-off win in their 4-game sweep of Tampa Bay. Manager Scott Service says the clubhouse is a fun house right now.
Coming into this series, I mentioned early on, I was looking forward to it. I thought our team was as well, to kind of see where we were at, and obviously confidence growing, whatnot. But what a series. Everybody chipping in, huge outings out of our pitching staff, our bullpen guys, offensively, coming up with big hits right when you think we're down and out. Guys that have great at bat, keep extended innings, and then you get the big knock, big homer whenever we needed it. So a really awesome effort. Couldn't be any more excited about this group going forward. About the game, certainly Marco, that's what we're used to seeing out of Marco. Going out, dominating the zone, head and counts, lower pitch count, getting deep in the ball game, and wasn't quite able to get out of the seventh, but our bullpen picked him up. Like I said, Ty France, big game tying homer, and then we got some pressure on him late, and Shed coming through with the blast there, in the 10th inning. So awesome day, great weekend, but fans were into the game. It was a fun game to be a part of. Hits were hard to come by today on both sides. The pitching was outstanding, and when you come through late like that, and nobody's left the ballpark, they're on their feet. It means a lot, and these are experiences that a lot of our young players have never had. They're not used to having fans in the stands, so really feel we got a good vibe here at home right now. We've played very well at home. We played defense. We pitched well, and like I said, the timely hitting is what it's all about.
For the Mariners, it's off to the golf course today. They have the first day of summer off, and they begin a quick 2-game series with the Rockies coming to town tomorrow. To the scoreboard we go. The Yankees turn their third triple play of the season to finish off a 2-1 win over Oakland on Sunday. Gary Sanchez's 2-run double in the 6th was a difference for my Yankees. Abraham Toro, 4 for 5 with a run. Lance McCullers Jr. pitched 6 strong innings. Houston completed a weekend sweep of the White Sox, 8-2. Louis Arez and Trevor Larnach each had 3 hits, and Minnesota's 4-2 win over Texas. The Rangers have now lost 6 in a row. And Daz Cameron's 2-run base hit in the top of the 10th gave Detroit a 5-3 win over the Angels in Anaheim. Shohei Ohtani hit his league-leading 23rd home run in the loss for the Angels. Apple Sox dropped the rubber match of their 3-game series yesterday at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. They lost to Bend 11-8 in 10 innings. Wenatchee tied it with 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th on a bases-loaded error by the catcher and a fielder's choice. The Elks untied it on Daniel Garcia's sacrifice fly in the top of the 10th, and then they added an insurance run on Chase Matheny's 2-run double. Tino Bethancourt had a 2-run home run. Colin Villegas added 2 hits for Wenatchee. The Sox are off until tomorrow. They'll begin a 3-game series. They'll be down in Longview to take on Cowlitz. Other West Coast League action on Sunday. There's your scoreboard. Kai Francis and 2 other Bellingham pitchers threw a 1-hit shutout of Portland in the Bells' 5-0 win. Braden Boysenvert's 2-run home run capped a 3-run 8th inning for Corvallis. The Knights come back to beat Cowlitz 6-4. Will Chambers had a 3-run home run to lead Ridgefield in a 9-2 win over the Northwest Star Academy. Noah Williamson hit 2 home runs in the same inning, including a grand slam to lead Yakima Valley in a 22-3 blowout win over the Cascade Collegiates. Spencer Sherwerher was 1 for 2 with a triple and 2 RBIs to lead Walla Walla to a 4-2 win over Highline. Sweet pitchers held the Bears to 2 runs on 4 hits with 18 strikeouts. And Portland's bullpen, well, they let the Pickles down on Sunday. They allowed 3 runs in the 8th inning by Willamette, and they lost 4-3. Only 2 games on the schedule today in the West Coast League. Yakima Valley will host Cascade, and the Northwest Star Academy will visit Corvallis. The high school prep season came to an end over the weekend in basketball. After beating Davis Friday to advance to the district title game on Saturday, Wenatchee lost to West Valley 49-35 in the championship. Garrett Long was held to 14 points. Joe Dory led the Panthers with 16, and Eastmont had no answer for Davis's Robert Galindo Saturday in falling in the district consolation game 74-59. The junior guard led Davis with 41 points. The Wildcats' Reese Gallagher was the only player in double figures with 10. Christina Blauman had a team-high 17 points, and the Wenatchee girls' 61-38 loss to West Valley on Saturday. Moses Lake, by the way, wins the district championship with a 60-44 win over Sunnyside. Megan Carstetter led the way for the Chiefs with 14 points. And other girls' results over the weekend. On a Friday, Chelan edged Omak 44-40. Okanagan tossed Tonasket 68-20. Bridgeport beat Orville 58-34. Lake Roosevelt raided Manson 63-22. Waterville-Mansfield ended their season with a victory over Aniat. Cashmere beating Brewster on Saturday 80-40. Quincy topped Cascade 39-22. Warden finished an incredible undefeated season with a big victory over Tonasket, and Liberty Bell beat Oroville 70-31. Boys basketball Friday. Omak topped Chelan 64-61. Okanagan beat Tonasket 82-62. Orville no trouble with Bridgeport 71-38. Aniat edged Waterville-Mansfield 41-37. On Saturday, Cashmere polished off a perfect season with a victory at Brewster. Quincy clobbered Cascade. Tenasca tipped Warden. Orville edged Libertyville. And Moses Lake Christian beat Bridgeport. Congratulations to the Wenatchee girls bowling team. They are the Big 9 district title champions. They won it Friday at Eastmont Lanes. Kyle Hankins was the medalist. Wenatchee 2,719 pins. Eisenhower second. And Eastmont third. Jesse Jensen claimed the checkered flag in the final race of the night at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval on Saturday night. He drove his number 31 car past Trevor Flora and Garrett Huffines to win the main event. In the Jerry's Auto Supply Pro Late Models, Okanagan's Evan Getz wins the Mountain Dew Junior Late Model main. Stonehambish's Haley Constance second. Ephrata's Danica Dart was third. Luke Shaw won his second straight main event in the Dix Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder Cars. Union Gap's Jim Zaruzua was second. Moses Lake's Randy Pugh third. Wenatchee's Chad Holliday wins again. In the Holiday's Custom Muffler B-Mod main event, Gary Shales second. Chelan's Mitch Evans third. The Bandolero main event went to Deer Park's Cole Dason-Brock. Caleb DeLong was second. Addison Johnston third. And in the Northwest Vintage Modifieds main event, the checkered flag flew for Mount Vernon's Kyton Jones. Ken Klatschmidt second. Ricky Villiard third. The Wenatchee Valley's Super Oval is off until July 10th, when it will be Kids Night. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Monday, the 21st day of June, 2021. 3 obscure holidays to choose from. Today is National Skateboarding Day. It was big when I was a kid. Then after a while, you fall down and you don't want to fall down anymore. Today is National Daylight Appreciation Day. Why not? Longest days of the year, right? But no, today is National Selfie Day. The art of taking a picture of yourself and posting it on the World Wide Web or on social media. Who's kidding who? Cell phones and social media have transformed our lives. How many selfies are taken? I tried to look this up. Nobody seems to know. A lot. Just a lot of selfies. And selfies actually began to gain popularity on the MySpace social media page in 2003 and 2004. Yeah, MySpace. Remember that? Now, of course, MySpace has been completely taken over by Facebook. By the way, the term selfie entered the lexicon of languages in 2013 when the Oxford English Dictionary added the term selfie. So take a picture of yourself and post it on the web. I don't do that very often. I'm on TV enough. I don't need to take pictures. It's your obscure holiday of the day today. It's 28 minutes after the hour. Today in history, that's the state flag of New Hampshire. Not a bad state flag. Most state flags, they just take the state seal and they put it on the flag and call it good. New Hampshire joined the Union on June 21st, 1788. They ratified the Constitution of the United States to become the 9th state in the United States. It's known as the Granite State. The motto, of course, one of the most famous state mottos out there, live free or die. State song, Old New Hampshire. I played it the other day. It's not very good. Of all the coastal states, of all the states in the Union that border an ocean, New Hampshire has the shortest coastline. It's only 18 miles long, but they got a little piece of the Atlantic there. New Hampshire is the only state which does not, by law, require adults to wear seatbelts while operating a motor vehicle. Youngsters have to, but adults do not. There is no general sales tax in New Hampshire. There is no personal income tax other than interest and dividends. And New Hampshire, by the way, it also has the lowest poverty rate of any state in the Union. Happy 233rd birthday to New Hampshire. June 21st, 1939, 82 years ago today, the New York Yankees announced that after a week of tests at the Mayo Clinic at Rochester, Minnesota, first baseman Lou Gehrig has been diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis and will no longer be able to play professional baseball, and he never did play professional baseball for the Yankees. Again, he stayed with the team for the rest of the 1939 season. As the team captain, he would bring the lineout up to the plate, and even that got to be too much towards the end of 1939. Lou Gehrig's retirement became official. They would hold Lou Gehrig Day a couple of weeks later. Speaking of baseball, 57 years ago today, on Father's Day, at Shea Stadium in New York, Jim Bunning of the Philadelphia Phillies, the father of 9, pitches the first perfect game in the National League since 1880. The Phillies beat the Mets 6-0. By the way, Jim Bunning remains, to this day, the only former Major League Baseball player to be elected to Congress. Jim Bunning throws a perfect game on Father's Day the father of 9. I love the poetic justice there. Something else also happened on June 21st, 1964, but an entirely different scenario in Neshoba County, Mississippi. 3 civil rights workers, Andrew Goodman, James Chaney, and Mickey Schwerber, murdered by members of the Ku Klux Klan 41 years to the day later. In 2005, Edgar Ray Killian, who had previously been unsuccessfully tried for the murders, would be convicted of manslaughter 41 years after it happened. The case was reopened in 2004. That also happened on this date in 1964. And one of the most controversial Supreme Court rulings in recent times, 32 years ago today, in the case of Texas v. Johnson, the United States Supreme Court rules that the burning of an American flag as a form of political protest was free speech and therefore protected by the First Amendment. There have been hundreds of efforts by the United States Congress to introduce a resolution to do a amendment to the Constitution to outlaw the desecration of the flag. They have all failed. Congressman Dan Newhouse floated that idea 1 week ago today on Flag Day. It's political grandstanding. It's just political hay. It's never happened, nor will it happen. 31 minutes after the hour. Birthdays. A couple of rockers and rollers. Ray Davies, leader of the Kinks, the lead singer, guitarist, main songwriter. You Really Got Me, All Day and All of the Night, A Well-Respected Man, So Tired of Waiting for You, Sunny Afternoon, Lola. Ray Davies, 77 years old today. Nils Lofgren, a very underrated rock and roll guitarist. His solo work in the early 70s is fantastic. He was with the group Grin. Then he joined up with Neil Young, and he's been a member of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band for the last 30 years. Nils Lofgren is 70 years old today. And happy birthday to Chris Pratt. First, of course, gained fame as Andy Dwyer on Parks and Recreation, then Moneyball, Zero Dark 30, the Lego Movie, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, the Jurassic Park franchise. Chris Pratt is 42 years old today. Going to take a break. When we come back, Mike McNally's got a commentary about community theater, and then it's my 4 times a year visit with Bonnie Orr, the do's and don'ts of summertime gardening with the expert Bonnie Orr. She'll be coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Wow, Wenatchee Valley, spring has sprung and Collins Fashions is totally ready. Come see us at Collins for superb service and selection in downtown Wenatchee.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snow blowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
This is Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Rosie and I, we recently spent over $300 to see the musical West Side Story at the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle. That was fun. It was a great show. We enjoyed doing stuff like that once in a while. But are you aware of the incredible live theater that's available to us right here at a minuscule fraction of the cost right here in Wenatchee? Every year, local community theater groups out there, right here in our town, put on very high-quality productions. No joke. These productions are comparable to anything you're going to go see professionally over in Seattle. Now, I know many of you take advantage of these opportunities, but there are many more folks who aren't even aware of the live entertainment we are blessed to have right here. So, if you've never seen a live play or musical here in town, hey, I encourage you to give community theater a try. Trust me, you'll love it. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
Boat Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. Now you can fish like a pro without breaking the bank thanks to the Pro Mag aluminum fishing boat by Smokercraft. It features a great layout with a spacious bow casting platform, huge live wells, and in-floor storage to safely stow your gear. See the Smokercraft line of boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
Hi, I'm Chuck Dronan, Managing Member at Epledollin Retirement and Assisted Living. It's been a tough year for all of us, but especially for those working and living in senior care facilities. Over the course of these many difficult months, our staff at Epledollin has been vigilant in adhering to federal and state guidelines to protect and assure the safety of our residents and their caregivers. If you're in need of assisted living for a loved one, give us a call at Epledollin. We're here for you.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks to the generosity of Jason Browning and his crew at Elmy Gardens, we are back again and back again for yet another visit. We do it on the solstices and the equinoxes at least 4 times a year. Every once in a while, we get an even bonus conversation with my friend Bonnie Orr as we celebrate summer 2021. Hello, Bonnie.
Hello. And, you know, I'm a member of Elmy Gardens.
Yes.
You can buy a membership, and you can come anytime you want.
And it's only $8 for the day. If you just want to come for the day, it's $8. Come up here with a book, find a nice solitary little spot here, and read one of the 195 books that Bonnie read during the COVID-19 outbreak. I love this place, and Jason and his crew do a phenomenal job.
They do a beautiful job.
Yeah, and this is a great place to go for gardening tips and gardening ideas, isn't it?
It could be. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does Elmy Gardens, before we get into the meat, the topic is going to be, of course, summer lawn and garden care. Does Elmy Gardens have its own little ecosystem because of how it's the elevation of it and how when they first planted this years ago?
These are Jason questions.
Yeah, but I mean, Jason, I know for a fact, told me that when they started Elmy Gardens, they weren't horticulturists. They weren't landscape architects. They just planted stuff.
And well, they went up into the Cascades and dug trees, which
Yeah.
out of the national forest.
Can't do that anymore.
Can't do that anymore. Went to the bottom of the Columbia River and picked up rocks. Can't do that
Can't
anymore.
do that anymore.
So it was the right thing at the right time.
God bless the Elmys for doing this and leaving us this crown jewel. We had we had a very strange spring.
Oh, didn't we?
Yeah, stranger than normal. First of all, it was bone dry. They combined the measured precipitation of February and March. They put them both together, driest ever since they started keeping records.
And we're until last week we were 2 inches down.
We're in a drought.
Yeah,
We're in a severe drought.
We are in a severe drought, and it's just what it is.
And what's it doing to our lawns and our gardens?
Well, you know something? People have to rethink lawns. I mean, they say, well, we have this Columbia, but that's not what it's all about, you know? We have to think about garden practices. And that's what we're going to talk about today, preparing for the heat and things like that.
Because the heat is coming, and
of course it is. Yes,
there's no such thing as a cool summer here
that's
in North
right.
Central Washington.
And, you know, we have the heat. Now we had that little bit of heat, and that burned all the fescue out of the lawns. And it doesn't matter how much water you put down, the fescue is not going to come back until it cools off in August. And then the fescue comes back, and then the Kentucky bluegrass diminishes, and you know that's why you have that mixture.
Bonnie, of course, years ago taught me the method of the tuna fish can.
Right.
Talk about that again.
Okay, so when the temperatures in the high 80s and in the 90s, which will be pretty much all of July, and this next week, you need 2 inches of water per week, and it needs to be put down in 2 applications. Okay, you don't water every day for half an hour. You find out how much water you put down, and the tuna can. You put the tuna can down and see when you get 2 inches in that tuna can. Okay, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna make it so I water half a can full on Tuesday and a half a can full on Saturday.
Early, never in the heat of the day and never in the wind, correct?
Well, yes. I mean, I hope the wind is going to stop before July 6th this year, like it didn't last year. But you know, the thing is that the reason that you water your inch at one application is that water has weight, and so the gravity pulls it down and the roots follow it down. So you have a healthier lawn because the roots are in the cooler soil.
Is it too late to mulch, or can you do that anytime?
You as in mulch, as in flower beds?
Flower beds and things like that, because you hear about that.
Well, I have just finished all my mulching, and I am really a believer. I never have to weed. I weed thoroughly in the spring. I don't weed again until the next spring, because I use grass clippings and ground up leaves. Grass clippings are enough.
Nobody likes to weed, and nobody likes to weed.
Know. Well,
yeah.
I don't have to.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, and the mulch also will make sure that the ground moisture in your flower beds and in your vegetable beds is consistent. Because one of the reasons why tomatoes get in trouble is because of irregular soil moisture.
Yeah, we've talked about how temperamental tomatoes are. If it's really cold or really hot, they just stop. They just shut down and they go to sleep.
They're such fussy guys.
I know. I'm telling you.
Know?
Well, let's talk about vegetables.
Okay.
What are we planting now in the early days of summer that we're going to come enjoy come harvest time?
Well, you know, the tomatoes. If your tomatoes have already started to bloom, you may not fertilize again.
Okay.
Because that is, again, one of the causes of the blossom end rot. Irregular water and too much nitrogen.
And you're a believer that most people apply too much fertilizer to begin with.
I know it. And you know, the thing is, if you have a soil test done at a place like Cascade Analytic, you can find out maybe that you don't even need to put any nitrogen down on your soil. Mm-hmm. You know, that the plants can only take up so much of it, and excess fertilizer gets washed into the groundwater. And the fish don't like that.
No, they don't. They don't like that.
They don't get salts at all. So anyway, watering consistently and for the heat. You know, there's going to be leaf scorch. It's just where we live. Dogwoods, of course, are our favorite victim of our favorite victim. But somehow or another, we plant them in the center of our lawn, and they were designed as understory trees, so they're going to have brown, crispy edges. So.
And actually, that's a good point, because we've talked about this before in the show. As the orchards go out and the housing developments come in, for a lot of first-time home buyers or even people who are moving, they get a blank canvas to work with.
Yes.
All they have is a yard. All they have is a house and a fence.
Right.
And they get to do pretty much whatever they want to do.
That's right.
But you got to get it going start. You got to plant the right tree or the plant or the bush or the shrub in the right location.
Well, you know, there are 100 master gardeners in Chelan and Douglas County. And this summer, every Thursday night from 4 to 7, you can go up to Springwater and Western, where the garden is, the demonstration garden, and they can answer your questions and provide advice.
It's always nice to talk to experts, thus our conversation with Bonnie Orr. We kind of got off that we were talking about lawns a little bit, then we kind of got off.
We're all going to talk about things. You know, that's how we always talk.
That's how we wing it. So what do you want to talk about?
Oh, you know, I just want to make sure that people don't ruin things by trying to overwater. Okay, if you overwater your lawn, you kill the roots of your shrubs and your trees. And you can tell when that has happened, because many times you can drive around a place down the street and you see all these dead sticks at the top of trees, like dogwoods or other types of trees. And it's because that's a sign of root death.
Okay.
You know? So, 2 inches of water, that's all you need for your lawn.
What if your lawn has a pretty good slope to it? Is the water naturally going to want to go down there and settle down there?
Uh-huh.
How do you combat that, or do you?
Well, you probably don't have to water as much down at the bottom.
Will aeration help? I mean,
no. I mean, the water's going to run.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a natural area with all sorts of shrubs for birds, because you know how I am creating the habitat for birds, and this is one area I water once a month. And all the rest of the time, it's enough of a little teeny slope that it gets enough water from everything else. So you don't have to worry about it.
And how about just the most brutal hot times of the year? As a general rule of thumb, we're going to be 95 for 2 weeks on end, July 23rd, because it's going to happen, and the overnight lows will be in the 70s.
Isn't that wonderful? It cools off.
How does one resist it's so hot, I got to go out and water, you know? It's because it's human nature, right?
I guess so. You know, you could find a movie about the Arctic, and you could stay inside. and watch something like that.
What
Or
about
watch
There
Shackleton's?
you go.
Trip on
Ernest
the Endeavor.
Shackleton. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, I
yeah.
love that. That's
one of my favorites.
one of my favorite books,
Yeah.
Endurance.
Yeah, Endurance.
What
yeah.
a great story that was, and how they actually.
anyway,
we're going way off topic here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So.
But the thing is, on veggies, because we were going to talk about veggies.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so some of them, I mean, you can apply light amounts of fertilizer, but those tomatoes really don't want a lot of fertilizer. And there will be some bug damage, just because insects and buggy wuggies, our little creepy crawly friends, are going to come into the yard. One of the things I do is I grow petunias around my vegetables, my tomatoes, my tomatillas, my peppers, my eggplants, because they're all cousins of petunias.
Okay.
And so the flowers are very similar. If you look at the flowers, are all very similar. So they attract the same insects.
Who will go to the petunias and not your vegetables?
That's right.
Okay. Well, that's a great
my
tip.
Idea. That's my idea.
That's a really great tip.
And it works. And also you get the pollinators to come and work all of them. But I guess the best thing about it is that every morning you can go out with your cup of coffee. Or you can go out with a glass of wine. You can
In the afternoon. Yeah.
And then you look for bug damage. I mean, bug damage does not just happen. The population has to grow up. Well, most people don't notice it until things are damaged. Like, people are always complaining about squash bugs, and after their plant has collapsed, right? Well, then it's too late. But those squash bugs are around on the underside of the leaves for several weeks before then.
So just looking around isn't good enough. You got to poke around a little bit.
Yeah, you poke under this. Yeah, you poke under the plant.
Sure.
You look under the leaves. You rub them off with your hand. Put it on a rubber glove if you're, all tense
cares?
about those
Slugs
things.
are slugs.
Yeah,
we
that's,
love
or
them
whatever.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yes, and slug damage.
Yeah.
You all of a sudden you go, oh, there's these holes all over the leaves of my plant. What's eating it? Well, look for the first, that first little chew. Anyway, that really makes a difference. And aphids are really, again, you can just rub aphids off. You don't have to spray them. You want to hear my chickadee story?
I love good stories.
Okay, so I have these chickadees that nest right outside my front window. And I have roses there also. And, well, let's see, 25 days ago, the aphids, there were aphids on the roses. So one day I went out and I rubbed them off. And 2 days later, there are aphids again. Well, then the chickadees are feeding their chicks.
Oh.
And believe it or not, I did a calculation. They fed their chicks 20,000 insects.
Wow.
Because they are feeding every 30 seconds, okay?
Yeah.
I am not kidding you. There's 2 of them, and for 11 days, for 15 hours a day. Well, what is so amazing to me is that I do not have a single aphid.
Well, that's a cool way to get rid of aphids.
And their little faces were all mucky from from picking up the aphids. And then the ruby-crowned kinglets came in, and the red-breasted nuthatches, and the hummingbirds. Everybody came in to have a little juicy treat. Anyway. Creating a habitat will help you control your insects also.
Last summer at this time, we shot an episode of this interview at my. Well, I'm not. It was at a relative's house. I'm not going to mention my brother Eric's name because I told him I wouldn't. You gave him some really good advice. He did all of it, by the way, and he put in some hummingbird feeders.
Uh-huh.
And one of his favorite things to do was to sit out on his patio in the shade and watch the hummingbirds come.
They are just amazing little birds, and they take, the fountain that you shared with me. They sit on that and they take little baths. I mean, it's great.
Speaking of that, let's talk about taking care of our little feathered friends real quick in the heat of the summertime.
You don't have to feed them.
Okay.
No bird food. No bird food. And one of the things is, if you're feeding where the food is on the ground, that just contributes to disease, because they poop and then diseases can build up. So your feeder has to be off the ground. Also, it keeps away the cats, okay, and things like that. And also, you don't want to get rats or raccoons or other stuff like this. But right now, you do not need to feed. There should be enough insects and enough seeds for them to be perfectly happy.
A funny thing happened during the COVID-19 pandemic, what we're almost through with now. people, because they were in quarantine or self-lockdown, they rediscovered the joys of gardening. It kind of just took right off, didn't it?
It really did. And, gardening supplies became quite short, as did canning supplies, because people were going to put up the things.
That's got to make you feel good. If there's a silver lining, that's got to make you feel pretty good.
Because people said I can be outside. We had the best looking yards last year. Yeah, our town was absolutely fabulously beautiful, and maybe we'll maintain it like that.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
What else is on your mind, buddy?
Okay, it's time to deadhead. If you have not deadheaded lilacs, viburnums, okay, forsythia, this is the last week for doing this. And then what you're going to do, because they're going to set their new blossoms for next year within the next few weeks. So if you cut things later, you will be cutting off next year's blooms. And probably it's also the last week for rhodies. People deadhead rhodies. It's not necessary. In the wild, they're never deadheaded.
No.
Okay. Anyway, but if your rhodie has gotten out of control, like remember that really, really big one?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is the time you can cut it any which way you want, because there are things called latent buds underneath the bark, and you cut it, and then new growth comes out of those buds.
Well, we did that, as you mentioned. Again, my brother, I can't mention my brother Eric's name. I keep forgetting that. And that rhodie is thriving now.
I know.
And it's just full of color and life. But now before it was fine, but it was just green.
Yes.
Now it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
The thing, it had been cut at the wrong time also.
Exactly.
So timing is important in the garden, and I would suggest that maybe this week, it's starting to get warm. You can be out early in the morning. This week is your week to do all those major garden tasks, okay? And then you can sit back up on the deck with watermelon and a book.
Oh, that's the way to go.
I know it, isn't it?
That's
Isn't
the way
it?
to go.
What else do we want to talk
We're
about?
almost through. We're almost through.
Fertilizing.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fertilizing, no lawn fertilizer. Okay. You only need one application. I know that Scott's keeps telling us that we need 3 or 4.
This isn't a golf course. It's your yard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I am really trying to encourage people to get away from that monoculture of just Kentucky bluegrass and fescue, integrating other things, mini clover, yarrow, wild strawberries. There's just a plethora of wonderful things that smell good, look good, bloom, and you don't have to mow them as often.
That's the way to go. Clovers. We talked about how that was the new thing.
Not
too far.
clovers.
Mini clovers, yeah. And they're great in bare feet too.
Oh well, yeah, but no, you have to be really, really careful. You can't have it in bloom.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
Yeah, you don't want to
step
on the bee.
Squish them. Anything else?
Okay, let's just talk about. We're talking about like June activities right now. End of July is when you want to think about your fall garden. Oh my gosh. Okay, August 15th is when the temperatures change. Okay, we start moving toward fall. Peas take 70 to 75 days, so you want to plant peas. And I just am loving my peas right now, which I planted at the 1st of April. Okay. And beets, carrots that you can overwinter, spinach, Swiss chard, all those other wonderful greens. Okay, so you have to start thinking that while you are still enjoying, you interplant, things that will be growing later in the season.
Is it too late now for certain things to plant, or is it?
I think Brussels sprouts might be a little late.
But there's still plenty of growing time for your favorite vegetables.
Yeah. And you can integrate them into your flower beds because your perennials will have finished blooming already. Well, ta-da! You can put some cabbages in there, some kale.
And Bonnie and I have talked about this. When you go and you buy your seeds at your local lawn store, whatever vegetable it is, the seed manufacturers want you to succeed. So if you follow the instructions on the back, you're going to go pretty good.
One of the things that I think is most important is keeping them evenly moist during their germination period, because that little teeny weeny seed has, everything it needs. But if it starts and then dries out, then it's all over.
Yeah, don't want that.
So uniform moisture.
And don't plant vegetables that you don't plan on eating. It's as simple as that. Last thing I want is a big box full of tomatoes in my front yard that some stranger just drops off.
See, and there are some vegetables that Believe it or not, this sounds un-American. I don't like broccoli.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So I don't plant broccoli, you know.
Okay.
But I love Brussels sprouts.
Go figure.
I don't know.
They're cousins, aren't they?
I know, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So's
absolutely.
cabbage, and I make sauerkraut. Who knows, you know?
Bonnie, anything else that's on your mind?
Yes. Okay. Well, so bulbs will be available in the stores.
Okay.
You know, in the late summer, like in probably in September.
Okay.
If the soil has not dropped below 60, you don't want to plant the bulbs.
Okay.
Because they will start growing too soon, too fast.
And then they won't make it through the winter.
Well, you want them to be able to start growing roots, but you don't want them to sprout.
Right.
So the cooler soil, 50 degrees, 40 degrees, will encourage root growth, but you don't want them to.
And of course, more bulbs, as we know, as when we did a Green Thumbs and Dirty Knees episode, those are planted deep.
Yes.
They go way down there.
Yes.
Yeah.
6 inches.
Yeah. Big time.
Big time. Anyway, it is always fun in the summer, isn't it?
Yes, summertime. If you had to talk about the four seasons, you would have to rank the summer as in the top four, without question.
Oh, in the top four.
In the top four.
I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah, you have your winter and you have autumn and you have your spring and your summer. You got them right there. And again, Bonnie, can't stress this enough. If you have any questions, any concerns, something's wrong, something's right, I think you stumbled onto something. The Master Gardeners are great resources. They're phenomenal resources. There's 100 of them all over North Central Washington. And pop on up to the corner of Western and Springwater and check out those demonstration gardens.
Or ChelanMasterGardeners@gmail.com.
Are the offices at the campus of Chelan County open yet because of COVID? So it's still not.
No, and that's why we're doing the outside one.
Gotcha. I understand.
Yeah. You
Bonnie,
know, the light. I love the light at this time of year.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, today, the light is now going to diminish.
Yep.
I know. I don't like to think about that.
It's funny because we get the longest days of the year, 15 hours and 58 minutes of daylight. The sun goes down just about 9 o'clock, just about 16 hours, but we never actually get to exactly 16 hours.
Yeah.
It's like 15
Yeah, we have
hours
to be,
and
we have
59
to be
minutes.
200 miles
Yeah,
north.
drive up to the Canadian border and you get 16 hours of daylight. Bonnie, always a pleasure. Happy gardening, happy summer.
Happy summer.
And
Enjoy yourself.
We don't have to wait until the autumnal equinox. You can come on anytime you want.
I'd love it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
To achieve greatness once, it's not the end of the journey. It is only the beginning. Introducing the next all-electric super truck. The revolutionary GMC Hummer EV SUV. Reserve one now while they last.
Are you ready to freshen up your home? Boswell's expansive two-story showroom is filled with high-quality furniture that's always discounted to give you their best price every day. Boswell's is receiving new furniture deliveries each week, so you'll be sure to find just what you need for your home without the wait. Complimentary design assistance and free local delivery. Superior customer service and the best value for your money. Start at Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing,
located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
And the warm-up has begun. We're already at 68 degrees. We'll be bumping up in the upper 90s all week long, and then into the triple digits we go from the National Weather Service. Here is your summertime forecast. The living may be easy and the cotton may be high, but whew, baby, here comes the warmth. Upper 90s today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Into the triple digits we go on Friday, about 102 or 103. Record-breaking temperatures, a distinct possibility on Saturday and Sunday. And guess what? It's going to stay this way for quite some time. The ridge of high pressure is going to be a big dome. It's going to be taking up almost the entire western United States. And not only that, it's going to gradually shift to the north and to the west as it's over basically the Rocky Mountains right now, and it's going to just start radiating the heat. So get ready for some scorching hot weather, hottest temperatures we've seen in about 6 years. That is it for us. Have a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.